Hey guys, to help run the forums, host the website, and travel, we've introduced a universal service fee for in-depth coverage, including this video. My goal is to be unbiased and transparent. It's a privilege to serve you. This is not an endorsement. Let's get into it. Hey guys, we're in Newport Beach, California. I'm actually at the headquarters for the Electric Bike Company, and that's Sean Lupton-Smith, founder, CEO over there.
Hi guys.
We've been spending like all afternoon looking at this bike. There's so much to talk about. This is their Model C, and they also have a Model S, like a step-through frame. I've reviewed it a couple times, and every time I come across it, another thing's like updated, and there's so much to talk about, all these cool accessories. I want to take a moment to remind you that back at the website, I record all these different stats. You can see like the price here, $22.99. And actually, you guys do shipping. It's like $229 or something like that.
$229 to the residence and $149 fully assembled to an office.
To a business. Okay, cool. Things like that. There's a lot of little things, a lot of nuances. So I'm going to do my best to be thorough on this review, but I just wanted to point this out so you could go back to the site and check this out if you're getting close to a purchase. They've got a few different models now, and it's really neat. The one that we're looking at right here, it's almost stock. It wouldn't normally come with those fenders. They cost a little bit extra, and I did weigh it without the fenders, 56.8 pounds, which is pretty impressive just considering how big it looks. You know, you got this big oversized saddle, these big comfortable tires. This front basket actually comes with that. Integrated lights, oversized sweatback cruiser bar, steel, along with the fork, vibration dampening qualities there. Really nice. And then that big oversized rack. There's a lot you can do with this, and I'm going to show you some of that when we get out onto the floor. But just to start, this is like a cruiser style electric bike with a powerful planetary geared hub motor in the rear from MXUS, 500 watt nominal, 1200 watt peak, and it really is powerful, and it's because they have a 26 amp controller built into the battery here, and kind of this battery box, along with a charger. Look at this. You reach in here, there's a plug, you pull it out like this, it's retractable. That's something I've like never seen before, and it's kind of on a spring, so it goes back. I'm gonna let Sean take care of that. Interesting to see this kind of stuff. When you started this company, how long ago did you start it, Sean?
We were about 7 years ago now.
7 years. I mean, it's amazing because during that time, it feels like you set out to make like the ultimate bike that does everything. Was that the goal or what?
That was the goal. It was really something that we wanted to make sure that the guy could carry whatever he wanted to do. If he wanted to use it for pleasure or for work, we had it strong enough and reliable enough and safe enough.
Well, and it really is. I'm trying to remember the max weight rating on this because you're kind of a big guy.
Yeah, I'm a big guy, and I weigh about 280 pounds, and it actually you can get up to a 350, 360 pound rider on there.
Okay, wow. So one of the values I saw was like do everything, and I'm gonna hit some of those major points here. So we got this adjustable angle stem, not only in this Model C Classic frame, but also a step-through, so it's approachable, maybe a his and hers setup. Although, you know, color-wise, we're looking at this custom red here. This comes in 3 different colors stock. There's black, sort of a standard red, and white. And then you work with a local company that does painting for you on your frames, right?
That's right.
This is where all the paints will be applied perfectly, either for the 24 colors that they have on the website as an option, or custom colors. Can you tell me how this works, Sean?
Yes, you go onto the site and you can actually choose out of 24 different colors, any color that you want your bike to be painted. We paint it that way. If you want something specialized kind of color, you send us in a swab. We'll give you a call and we'll work out the color arrangements from there.
So we've been doing this for probably 10 years now.
Wow.
And we specialize in paint and painting all sorts of bikes. It's pretty common because people see cars that they like the color of,
yep,
and they want that color. So, you know, we can do that for them, make it happen.
So you choose the 20 out of 24 colors, and then the second option is, do you want it matte or do you want it gloss?
Okay, and we were looking at these frames, and I was like, what happens if you get a nick? Like, what do you do?
Touch-up paint. So if you order one of the bikes in the 24 colors that Sean has on the website,
okay,
get touch-up paint. So it's a little bit more complicated to make it perfect, but for the home person, the touch-up paint's going to fill the scratch, and you're going to be able to cover up all those blemishes.
And buff it up, blend it a little bit or something like that?
If you have those skills, you can buff it up, yeah.
Yeah, and you do. I mean,
yeah.
So what's going on in here in this room?
This is our sanding room. So we do a lot of prepping. So I've got to take paint, strip paint, sand, do repairs. Sort of anything dirty gets done in there. It keeps the dust sort of
Cool.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty big space here.
But they all get prepped out here and they get painted in the booth.
And I noticed that you've even got those chain covers, and are you doing the fenders and stuff too? So it all looks...
Do fenders, the chain guards, the frames, forks, and surf racks.
Yeah.
We painted anything else?
Back rack, front rack.
Yeah.
So Vance, you're going to paint a frame, and I was going to get to take a look at that. I thought that was really cool. What's your background?
So my background is everything custom. So I've been playing with everything from cars from, say, the Fast and Furious franchise to current, doing some projects with Art Williams Jr. You can look him up, guy's amazing artist, right? So my gamut of knowledge is vast. I've been playing with paint and regular and fleet paint for like over 30 years. I mean, so top quality finishes. I brought in paint manufacturers to make sure that all of our bases and our primers and everything are on point.
And Sean was saying that one of the applications here is companies that want to have some branding work done and maybe have a fleet or something.
Oh, yeah. That's right. If they have their special color of their logo and they want their logo on the frame, we can do that as well for them. Yeah.
I feel like it'd be awesome if you had a gallery someday of like custom bikes, and then people could be like, I want something like that. You know?
I mean, it's insane. It's so niche business type of situation to where if they have anything that they want special, it's Burger King, have it your way.
Fantastic, man. Well, he's gonna hop in there. I'll show you what that looks like.
So there's no contaminants on the bike when we first do it, so we actually take a cleaner and start doing it. Let me turn some stuff on. It's gonna get a little loud.
Here we go. Appreciate that.
It goes a number of colors and then it gets buffed out, polished, and then whatever the color is. But in the light, it changes color a little bit.
Wow. Well, thank you for taking us behind the scenes. I think that's really cool that you work with these local companies, and there's always like a better process happening when you can be in person like this, when it's kind of local, and 10 years of experience. And That's right. Like back to this thing kind of has everything. So you got these optional fenders with, look at this, like reflective mud flaps. No one else has those. This awesome, comfortable saddle with some branding. Same thing with the grips up here, locking, so they're not going to twist on you. Come over to the other side of the bike here. We've got that chain cover that Sean was talking about. I like the pedals they went with. These are aluminum alloy platform. And then they've got this like rubber tread in them so you don't end up with scars on your shins like I've got from all these years of mountain biking and stuff. I love that it's internally routed on the cables. Looks very clean. And just having everything paint matched like that is awesome. Got this Maxxis Gypsy tires, 26 by 2.10. So they're fairly wide, but they're not overly heavy. Coming back to that weight earlier, 56 pounds. I mean, that's impressive for a bike like this. These cruisers often weigh a lot. So it's a blend of aluminum alloy for lightweight and kind of these bends and everything looks really nice, and steel for strength. So the fenders and the chain cover are steel. That means that there's some vibration dampening quality. Same thing with the fork and the handlebar. But if they get scratched over time, you get a little bit of rust going. So keep an eye on that. Maybe use some clear nail polish to touch them up. One of the big upgrades recently has been these Tektro Dorado hydraulic disc brakes, 4-finger levers with the ball end. That actually came from the motorcycling industry because people would if you ever crashed, you could get impaled if they didn't have that ball end. But they also act as like a safety so your hands don't slip off if you're going fast. And this bike is fast, up to 28 miles per hour, class 3 with pedal assist. Their pedal assist sensor has been improved. So it's this sealed magnet sensor down here, really tucked in. It's right there behind the chain ring. They used to have one, it was bigger with like the external magnets. It could get bumped out of place a little bit easier. Aluminum alloy chain ring, 18-tooth sprocket in the rear. This is a single speed, and I've talked to Sean about that, and he says, we do have mounting provisions for a derailleur, and it's possible to convert it if you want to have multi-speed, but we find that the chain doesn't fall off as easily. There's a lot less maintenance, and with such a powerful motor and throttle, this is the most popular choice, so we just kind of stick with that. So right up here, there it is. There's the trigger throttle. And again, just how clean this is because you don't have the gears. You don't have to worry about cable stretch or sort of the clicking and stuff that can happen with a multi-speed drivetrain. So the trigger throttle, that'll get you up to 20 miles per hour. So technically it's like a class 2 with the throttle, class 3 with the high-speed pedal assist, and it gives you both options. You can adjust the settings in this new display. It's a color display. You can go on and on with this thing. So for me, the comfort, the durability of the tires, the utility of these racks and stuff, and just so many options. There's one complaint I do have though, Sean. You know what I'm going to talk about here?
Probably pedal lock.
Yes, it is. It's this one. So you back the bike up and see the crank arm can collide with that kickstand. But I've asked him about that before, and he said, we put it there in the middle of the bike because our bike frame is a little bit longer. That creates some stability, and there's a little bit more space, and for a larger guy that kind of makes sense. So the kickstand, it's not the end of the world, but I am trying to do a review here. I just coming back to these like 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes with the quad piston calipers, so it spreads out. It's better heat dissipation, better power in the stopping, adjustable reach on those levers. There's so much to talk about here, but I want to take you on a little tour because we are at the shop, right?
Yes.
So we go out here and check it out. Look at all these frames hanging from, and forks. I review a ton of bikes, and it's often like, they're kind of made in China, and they kind of build them there and send them to us, and we turn a couple bolts, and that's not exactly the case here. Like your frames, they are still made in China.
Yes.
But you offer sort of the custom painting here, and you actually fully assemble the stuff here.
Correct. We have all the parts. We inspect every part before it goes on the bike. We do take the frame if a customer wants it painted. We assemble it here. We've got expert builders that actually build the bike to the customer's needs.
Wow.
All the right tools, all the right hardware.
And we're doing that right here. So this is Josh, right?
Yes.
And is this the Model S, the step-through?
Yeah, that is correct. This is Model S.
Is this a customer bike, or is this a brand new one?
Yes, this is actually a customer's bike that hasn't gone out yet. Right now I'm doing the final inspection on it.
Wow.
Got it from the bike builders the other day.
I love the mirror. There's a lot of... Has this been used, or is this a brand new purchase?
It only has one test ride on it. Brand new purchase.
Wow. A local rider?
Yeah.
Very cool. So that's the thing. If you're in Newport Beach, you can come in, you can check out the shop, you can try some of their bikes and stuff. I was impressed when I saw this because it has the upgrades, that suspension seat post. It's got this optional basket on the rear. We've got this lock. They've even got these like alarm systems. And when you get their two nicest bikes, that's the Model S or the Model C that we just saw a moment ago that the review is really focused on. It comes with a lot of those extra fixings, and it's the most compatible with those racks. And check this out. This is one of the best options. In my opinion, I love to surf, and there's this big, like U-shaped, pretty lightweight. I weighed that, and it was just a few pounds, and it connects to the side of that rack. That rear rack is really sturdy. There's extra tubing, and it's got that mounting point on top for a very functional basket. Okay, a lot of the baskets you maybe put on a milk crate or something, it doesn't match, it rattles around. Not the case with these. And then again, here's the standard front basket. And this one has the black fenders and the black paint that we were talking about before. So as you can see, all the parts and stuff, they're all stocked here. So that warranty, the 2-year comprehensive, and then 10 years for the motor and the frame is just like, it's pretty crazy. Sean, you have a background like doing other business. So this is not your first rodeo.
No, it isn't. I was in the restaurant business beforehand, and funny enough, in the bakery business making sandwiches. And I always thought that it's up to the customer who wants a pre-packaged sandwich when you can choose whatever you like, what mayo, and freshly sliced bread.
Yeah.
So it's your own choice, and that's what we do here. We have all the ingredients here, and we build it for the customer to his needs.
Well, I love that analogy. I really love, and again, the team here. Is this Jack back here?
Jack, yes.
Hey, Jack. Earlier we were hanging out and we are like exploring and getting the full tour, and you were in this closet area. Can you show us that again, real quick? There we go. Check this out, guys.
So right in here is where we have our 3D printers, where we're manufacturing usable parts. They're a little bit high maintenance, but we really like the ability to adjust the design whenever we would like, and it's a little bit more high maintenance than injection molding. But
can I go in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Wow. So that looks like a battery thing going on. Is any of this top secret? Are we gonna?
No, it's fine.
It's actually an example of what's being printed right now.
Wow.
Yeah, we can adjust this whenever we would like.
And then okay, so the point being, like, okay, so they got the custom paint, we got the optional. Thank you, Jack. This is
problem.
we got. Can I go this
Yes,
way,
please,
Sean? Okay,
please.
I mean, this whole place is just like so cool. They're working on some other cool parts. There's this cargo thing we might see in the future. Some of the fun colors we talked about. There's an orange one. I really like that. And then probably the coolest custom build thing that I've seen anywhere is over here. They had this shipped like from China. I was actually visiting when it arrived, and they had like some guys here setting up. This is a spoke machine. So see all these rims and stuff? They actually spoke the wheels, and they can do silver or black, so it sort of depends on that. So many choices here. Coming back to the website, they've got a really cool site where you can select what color and you can kind of mix and match, and that's just a ton of work and expense. But again, $22.99 plus a little bit extra if you want the custom colors, and then maybe they'll throw in the drink holder if you wanted the cell phone holder. There's a lot of cool little extras. Pay a little bit more for that suspension seat post, for the fenders, for the rear basket, for the the lock. There's all this stuff that takes a lot of time and energy, but they've done a really good job on their site, so it makes it's personalized for you guys. And I asked Sean, I'm like, well, spokes, like, I don't really care about them, what's the deal? Why did you go to such effort to like make this a part of your business?
Yeah, we actually are selling wheels, a two-wheel machine.
Yeah.
And it's really important that those two wheels track each other perfectly. That's not only for the range, but also for safety over time. So we try to make sure that we've got stainless, that we really use a stainless rust-resistant spoke and a brass nipple, and that all those tensions are put together perfectly.
Excellent. And that makes the bike ride longer and feel smoother and stuff. It's back to like the braking and the motor controller. Those are all areas that are upgrades on this bike. And I mean, look, so this is where they true the wheel. And I don't know what is this a wheel stand, a real?
Yeah,
true?
this is what we do is we just test it when it comes out the machine, because this is a laser machine. That's where we spoke it, and then it comes through the laser machine to make sure that it's perfectly trued. And that can actually be done better than a human eye can do it.
How many human eyes do you have on your team? How many people?
Yeah, we actually have 12 guys. We have a
Wow.
couple that do our admin. We've got a guy on the road that does some of the sales. And then we've got all our individual bike builders, bike inspectors, and packers.
Well, I've met a few of them. So there's Josh, Jack, and then I met Julia the other day. And who was the other young lady who was like marketing or something?
So we got Julia in the office. So we've got Christina that helps out with the logistics. We've got Kim that does our accounting. We've got Michael that helps a little bit with the website and some of the promotional stuff. Yeah.
You might notice, so Sean has got this fun accent from South Africa.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? So, and every time he's like, yeah, for these guys and these guys, but they actually have, it's guys and girls, and you've got a product that's accommodating people of different sizes with that adjustable stem and everything. So I wanted to call that out. I think it's a pretty special company, and so I love to come back and see these. I kind of want to get the bike outside, and I can talk more about the lights and take a test ride.
That sounds great,
Yeah?
Colt.
Great. Thanks, you guys. Isn't this a beautiful spot, right? Just took a little ride out here. This is where I wanted to spend some time getting a little bit more detailed with this bike, because there's a lot to share. I'm going to start off with those like trade-offs again, just because I'm trying to make this a review that's fair and addresses things like the kickstand position. Only one frame size, but again, 2 frame styles. A lot of adjustability on that stem, swept back handlebars, very approachable, some good seat height adjustment, and a very comfortable saddle. 30.9 millimeters on that stock seat post, so you could either get your own or you can get the SR Suntour NCX upgrade from the Electric Bike Company, which is cool. I want to go back to that shipping, $239, something like that. They ship this thing like fully assembled, which is awesome. So many times you're like dealing with the wheels and turning the handlebars and stuff, and this one, it's set up pretty much out of the box. You probably still want to mess with this a little bit. You can raise and lower this quill stem. You can adjust that angle right there and dial things in. Adjustable angle on the LCD display, and it's color now, which is pretty cool. I want to call out this little USB charging port. Perfect position on that. You can mount your phone. There was that phone holder on one of the bikes back at the shop. Maybe you could add additional lights. Some people put like Christmas lights on their bikes and have a ton of fun. Of course, the headlight that they've added is really nice. I love that it has reflectors and 2 LED beams. It's not aimable though, And when you turn the bike, it doesn't point where you steer because it's built into that front basket. A lot of utility on that thing though. I like it. You know, it's, again, you're still going to be pretty visible. There are some tires now that have like reflective sidewall stripes, and actually the Electric Bike Company is using those on some of their models. We might see it on here. It might be a little upgrade that you can request if you're someone who lives in a city and you really want to be seen. But if you've got a white frame like this, there's a pretty good visual footprint already, and with that backlight, you're in pretty good shape. I just love that these tires have that silk shield protection, because it's not a whole lot of fun getting a flat tire. We do have quick release up front, standard 100mm hub spacing, 135 in the rear. Again, plenty of space to add a derailleur if you wanted to upgrade and, you know, add some gears and stuff. But a lot of people, it's not worth it for like a kind of a fun beach cruiser. You just want the reliability and the quietness, which I definitely noticed on the way here. 13 gauge black spokes or silver, depending on, you know, the setup you prefer. This is what the silver looks like. Really appreciate that. Even the kickstand, you see that one? It's like silver. This one's black. Nice little attention to detail. 48-volt battery packs. This is 11.6, but they also have 17.4. So you can get crazy range on these. However, and by the way, it's the same physical size. It just slides into this plastic box. Seems pretty well protected, and the rack surrounds it. So if the bike tips or something, you're going to be in pretty good shape here. They do like fully potted, sealed battery. A lot of extra battery testing from this company. Just like everything on this bike, they've really scrutinized it. And the thing I wanted, the trade-off that I wanted to highlight here though, is that it's rear mounted. Okay, so a little bit more weight in the rear. We've got that motor down there, 8 or 9 pounds. Then we got the battery pack. I think this one's like 7.6 pounds, and then the larger one, the higher capacity, it's like 10.4 pounds, something like that. So it's a little bit rear heavy, you'd think, but when we actually weighed it, like the handlebars, the rack, and this other stuff up front, it was like perfectly balanced right here. Okay, so the weight distribution's not too bad, and with the high step frame, or the classic frame as they call it, you know, Model C, it's pretty stiff. You know, there's good support. When you get over to the Model S, it still has 2 tubes, and they've still done a good job with welds, and they've got that oversized head tube to mount the basket, which, by the way, makes it very stable. It's not going to tip while you steer or when you park because it's frame mounted. That's the right way to do it for a truly heavy-duty rack or basket. However, you get a little bit more frame flex. See, when I shake it, like I can pull up here, and then it kind of wagging its tail a little bit like that. That's just what happens when you have a step-thru that's a little bit heavier and kind of overbuilt this way. So if you're someone who's like, I really want the stiff frame, we'll go with this one, but your standover height is going to be a little bit higher, and especially if you get that suspension seat post. But I like that they left enough space here that you can actually take that saddle down without colliding with the battery and those cables, as long as the saddle is forward. And if you've dropped it all the way down, well, you might be someone who's petite, so you're not having those huge arms. You don't need to be scooting the saddle all the way towards the back. There's always a trade-off. So when you're trying to hit a price point like $22.99, which in my opinion is pretty good for a bike like this, you know, the single frame size, that's the biggest question mark I think I would be asking myself. It's like, okay, can I make it work? And frankly, I think the answer is yes, with all these different, you know, adjustments and stuff. So I think that's a pretty good look at the frame. I like also how minimalist the graphics are on this. They've just got their little logo. It's like a lightning bolt road thing going on. It's not like they covered it with decals. It just looks classic, and that's the idea, right? I mean, yeah, they have some logos and stuff on the crank arms, 170 millimeters, by the way, and then the saddle and the grips and stuff, but they're just, it's a light touch kind of thing. It doesn't look cheap, which I really appreciate. So my overall take on this bike is that it can be pretty comfortable, very powerful, pretty good price point, a company that's been around for a while, that has a good warranty, and they're willing to work with you to really customize it, personalize it, and that's a lot. Usually you pay a lot more for that kind of support. And Sean, you know, I guess I invite you to share anything you feel like maybe I missed about the bike at this point, because I've tried to, as I said, there's so much to it. I feel like I could go on, but
yeah, I think the biggest things were we trying to, because we build the bike here ourselves, we try and look at every single component and improve that. And we thought the braking was one of the things. So having the real solid brakes, because this is a powerful, strong bike, 4 pistons, high-end brakes, and then of course, you know, with the screen upgrading that, and then all the every part of the bike is put together with stainless rust-resistant hardware, including the chain.
We're by the ocean, so that's a good point. And I kind of didn't. I got glossed over the whole like, and they build it like in America. They actually do a lot of this themselves. It's pretty impressive. It kind of gets me excited, a team like yours.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I mean, again, we can offer that personalized service. The guy can build his bike virtually online, and you can see it how it's going to come, and that's exactly how it arrives.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at this point, I was going to jump into the display, because that's another like new-ish feature, and there's a lot to talk about there too. So let's do this. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's a color display. Can adjust the angle for glare, but it's not removable. So sometimes, you know, when I think about parking my bike outside, I'm like, you know, is this going to be in danger? And with big handlebars like this, when it's at the center, not so much. These are all like water resistant parts, like with most electric bikes. If you were going to wash this bike, you don't want to spray it with high pressure. You just kind of hose it down, and maybe you use a leaf blower first and kind of get the dust off, but you don't want to force anything into it. Also, the battery pack, because it is removable, there's like a handle down here. There's an on-off switch. So before we can even get to the display, you got to make sure that that's in the on position. And this is a nice little deterrent if you're parked so no one messes with your bike. I like that, you know, even though it's kind of got this like key locking cylinder on the pack, you don't have to leave these keys in the bike. And you might notice this little key fob. It's got like an alarm system built in, so you can like lock it, and then if someone comes up and bumps the bike, it's got like a motion sensor. And if you, let's say you're trying to find your bike, you took it to the beach party and it's the next morning, you're like, where's my bike? Or something. You could do a little like siren thing and try to find it. This is something you never see on other bikes. And at first I was like, this is cheap, you know, like I'm not going to use that. It's like adding all this clutter, partially because they gave you 2. But it kind of grows on you, and you're like, wow, it's actually pretty simple, kind of fun. And to me, it's just another thing. It's like, oh yeah, you got the charger built right in. Of course, they do also have a fast charger as an option. This one's 1.7 amp versus I think 5 amp or something. So so many options. But yeah, you don't have to leave the keys in, which means they're not going to be like dangling around. Okay, there we go. I unlocked it. I'm a pro with this thing now. Sean's cracking up over there. So anyway, with the display, we turn the battery on, we charge it up. Oh yeah, and having a removable battery is cool because unlike Southern California, where it's like always the perfect temperature, there are a lot of places where it's super hot or super cold, and that can be hard on those lithium-ion battery cells, which by the way are Samsung cells, so name brand again, and this is like a really well-built pack. Yeah, so, you know, maybe you store the battery somewhere where it's like cool, dry temperature if you're storing this bike in your garage or a shed, because it is a big bike, and that'll help to keep the battery lasting. And with a company that like this, they kind of use the same battery across the line, and so you can get a replacement pretty easily in the future, or get it repacked by a company like FTH Power someday. Okay, so battery is initiated. We press this power button here on the display, Electric Bike Company. We get the nice little logo, and then we have a battery infographic. Another one of my complaints, it's only 4 bars, which 25% steps versus like 10 bars would be 10% steps, or a percentage. I wish that was different, but you do have voltage here, which is another way to kind of assess how full that battery is. It's a more advanced way to do it, but at least they give you that option. And these really are like, they're closer to like 52 volt batteries versus 48. So that's another reason they feel so peppy. And we've got temperature over here, degrees Fahrenheit. You can actually change that to like, is that the ambient temperature or the motor temperature? I think you hold power and down. Maybe it's just down. There's so many different features on this display. There it is. Yeah, so if you hold down, you can cycle between outside temperature and your motor temperature. We've got assist level, and it started up in assist level 1 when I was testing this earlier. So I just turned the display off. I'm going to turn it on again. Boots up pretty quickly, and oh no, it's in 5, so it looks like it kind of remembers the last level you're in, which is cool. You can go all the way down to 0, and the lights will work, the display will work, and it'll just give you some feedback as you ride. You'll notice it says pedal assist off. If you want, you can turn it back on, and then that cadence sensor is going to start reading, and you're going to get that nice pedal experience. But I kind of think it's neat when you turn it off. If you want to, then you can just use the throttle like a scooter and go all the way up to the highest level of assist and get that full power and not have to worry about bumping those pedals. Now, before I was explaining that, like, you can either have pedal assist and the throttle locked into the level of assist. It's kind of how it sets up as default, or you can change it where the throttle gives you full blast at every level, which is my style, because this is a variable speed throttle, right? So if I want to, I can just touch it a little bit and I'm in a little bit of juice, or all the way for full power. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. We turn off the display, we turn it on, and then we hold up and down quickly, right? And then look at this. We've got the first option, which lets us change from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. We can change the dimension of the wheels. The third one is units again, so Celsius, degrees, miles per hour, kilometers per hour. So there's a few options there. And then all these different P and C things. And I think C8 is actually where you can change how the throttle works, whether it's limited or not. And they have a big manual back at the website, but look at how it's just so feature rich. When you're ready to get out of this, you just hold the power button. And now we're back at the home screen, speed and miles per hour, because we're in the US right now. We've got like trip time, total time, distance, odometer, and if we tap that power button, we can see average speed and max speed, 21.9 miles per hour. We haven't really been pushing this thing yet, have we? It does do 28, and coming back to just the balance of the frame, I haven't been experiencing any frame flex. I think maybe the longer, just the wheelbase and everything, this thing is pretty sturdy and pretty solid, especially the high step. I think that's about it. I want to point out that USB charging port on the side of the display again. I used it to charge my iPhone. It worked, which is great because sometimes iOS devices require higher like amperage. So this must be at least half, 500 milliamps, maybe even an amp. Awesome. Is that it? Did we get it? Is there anything else we're missing?
I think you covered most of it, Court. Thank you. All of it, actually.
I did my best. I mean,
yes.
I'm trying to do this justice because it's not just a one-off bike. Like, this is really something special that's been developed over the course of many years. A lot of like blood, sweat, and tears went into this, and a great team too. So I think you did a great job, Sean. Can I hop on the white one now, and we'll just take off?
Yes, let's do it. Thanks.
Okay,
Court.
sweet. Watch this. Oh, Sean, what are you doing? You're stealing my bike. Okay, here we go. We're good. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna boot this up. There it is. Stow that kickstand. It says pedal assist off, and I want it on, so I'm gonna hold the down arrow. I also want my lights on, so I'm gonna hold the up arrow. Okay, there we go. And now I can follow Sean. Lead on, buddy.
All right, let's go.
Those nice flip-flops. Will you turn your lights on too, bud?
Yeah.
There's one thing I saved for the very end, and look at that flashing rear light. That is unprecedented. Very, very few electric bike companies do that. And I don't know why. It's probably like hard, when you're trying to set this stuff up, it's one extra thing to figure out, but it makes you more visible. It's only a single LED light. It's by Spaninga. It's built into the battery pack, but it makes a difference in being seen, and I think that's so cool. Most of the aftermarket lights all have a blinking mode, so to have that on an electric bike is kind of nice. And I'm trying to like switch hands here while I'm riding. It's a little crazy. I'm gonna go in front of you and look at that headlight.
Oh, wow.
Very nice. The other thing about riding and just wearing our helmets and stuff like that, so it's sort of being seen, feeling comfortable, and there's a little bit of extra noise produced by this bike because of that planetary geared motor and just how powerful it is. So you can hear me taking off right now. Why don't you pass me up, Sean? There we go. We got our first stop test right here. Oh boy, I'm like sliding off the saddle. Awesome. I have it on the highest level, of course, so it'll be the most noticeable when we ride. And I love that both of these brake levers have motor inhibitors built in, so even if you forget and you're kind of like, oh yeah, pedaling along and you forget about pedal assist, but you need to stop, you're not going to be fighting that motor, because as soon as you press the brakes, it's going to cut the power, which is awesome. Oh yeah, one-handed braking. More people just enjoying the day. There we go. Looking good, buddy. Let me switch sides with you. Want to do a brake test here?
Okay.
Oh yeah, no problem. Lead on.
Okay, we got you here. Kind of nice.
Oh. There we go. And I'm doing this all with pedal assist. So, you know, 56 tooth chain ring up front, 18 tooth in the rear. It's pretty comfortable at like this, you know, 16, 20 mile per hour top speeds. When you get to 28, because there's the single gearing, you know, you might be spinning a little bit. So awesome. Hey guys. Wow. Nice. Oh, Sean's saying an architect lived in that house behind us. A lot of interesting stuff here. Very artistic. You get that nice relaxed beach vibe going on. Oh, I missed it. I missed the driveway.
I thought maybe this would be...
I'm gonna turn it around and hop on that sidewalk with Sean. And I purposely hit that like a little bit faster because I wanted to hear the fenders and stuff, but being steel, they're a little bit more sturdy. They're not gonna get bent or rattle as much as aluminum, and again, rattly like plastic. I tossed my camera bag up front, and that's been really nice because, you know, you're pedaling and stuff and your back starts to get a little bit sweaty and your neck and stuff gets tight. So I love the comfortable handlebar position on these. Just swept back, really big, comfortable. You don't have to lean forward. Sean, I really appreciate the time today. Thank you for taking us to this beautiful spot and just, you know, sharing your company and some of the employees and stuff there. As I said before, all the specs will be back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Have fun out there, ride safe, love you guys. And chime in if maybe you own one of the last generation of this product. Not a ton has changed, but there are a lot of little things that are just, you know, taking it to the next level. So I'll see that in the comments and stuff. And we'll see you next time.